Hello and welcome to Aggie Talk. My name is Patrick Figueroa. I'm your host today, joined by three other guys. We got Jonas here making his debut. Really excited to see what we got here with our new cast. We also got some favorites like Omar Navarro, Michael Quo. Really excited to get into today's episode of Aggie Talk. But to start, we're going to bring back an old segment, making its return to the show with the Blue and Gold Review. For those of you guys who may have not seen the Blue and Gold Review, what we do here is we go through what's happening at UC Davis sports, what's happening with their athletics program, different teams. We've got some teams starting their new seasons. Both of the men's and women's soccer have begun. They're playing scrimmages right now, and we have women's field hockey, which I wish we had Ryan for that because I know he's a field hockey expert. What did he say that one time? Like he's got acquaintances or like on the field hockey team or something along those lines.
Yeah, field hockey and lacrosse. Those are the two teams that Ryan is an expert in. He's our expert in that.
Yeah. Also, I wish Equestrian was around because if that was the case, Will Wyman would be here, but we're gonna have to go without him. First, start with women's soccer. They played two scrimmages. The first one on August 9th, in which they won 4-0 against Nevada. That was the first game of their scrimmages played at UC Davis on their beautiful Aggie soccer field. Great atmosphere. I remember I just remember going to one of the playoff games for the men's my first year, and that place was popping. It was a great time. And then they came to my hometown. They came to UOP to play another scrimmage on August 14th, in which they lost 1-2 in double overtime. I did not know there was double overtime in soccer apparently, but that's pretty cool. Again, I do know UOP women's soccer. They are usually pretty good. For as long as I've lived in Stockton, they usually are they're usually pretty damn good, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, pretty good test for our UC Davis women's Aggies soccer team. And this weekend, beginning tomorrow actually, is the Las Vegas Invitational with New Mexico. Well, actually, let me just clarify this. Our UC Davis women's soccer team will be traveling to Vegas for this tournament. They'll be playing against New Mexico and UNLV, so facing some out-of-state teams, and we'll see how they do in that. Yeah, we'll move over to the men's now. They've only played one scrimmage against Santa Clara, in which they tied it 1-1. Definitely still, though, some high expectation for this men's soccer team. And I don't know what happened last year. I didn't really keep up with it. That's on me, though. But I remember in my first year, they did make the playoffs. They won the Big West, so I'm pretty sure the expectations are still there to do that. But they started off with a tie, and this Saturday they will be playing against Chico State at UC Davis Aggie soccer field. Pretty much, and then next week they'll be traveling up to Seattle to play the University of Washington and the University of Seattle. So again, we got some UC Davis soccer experience starting, and it's an exciting time. Just reminds me of it's a reminder that the school year is close. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna be covering a lot of these sporting events. I know Omar is up. I would also be dreading a little bit too, but I think with the sports and pretty much us getting started, getting KDBS sports backing up and going it's gonna be fun. I feel like we can make the most of it.
Yeah, man, getting back to it, going to games, all that stuff, going back to the station, all of that, man. Definitely been missing that. And both soccer teams last year, I want to say they didn't have a season. I believe the Big West canceled fall sports. So this is their first season since the previous year before COVID, where, as you mentioned, the men's soccer team did make the NCAA tournament. So yeah, high expectation on the men's soccer team. We'll see what they got a good. Both teams have good coaching staffs, and they really have some talented players. So we'll see how it goes, and we're starting back up again. So hopefully they can. They can do well, especially men's soccer. See if they can build on that. See if they can build something special here.
Definitely. Thank you for the information, though. I'd forgotten that they canceled those seasons. But yeah, we'll also move on to the other team that is currently going. Our field hockey team. They had a scrimmage against Berkeley in Berkeley, California. It doesn't show the score, so maybe it was just pure practice. Like, who knows? Like, there's no score reported here. So, maybe if we had our field hockey expert, he might have the inside scoop, but we don't have that right now. Anyways, they're getting started. They have, I believe, they have 2 games up and coming. Later down the month though, August 27th, they'll be playing against Liberty in Davis, and on September 3rd, I'll be back in Davis by then, so maybe I could go check this out. They're going to be playing against Dartmouth. So 2 interesting games. Again, their season's getting started. I remember they had some success in my first year at Davis. Like, I could have sworn there was like some sort of upset they pulled off. I'm not 100% on that, but I mean, they're a fun team. I know Ryan loves to talk about how fun these events are. Like, and Ryan's got a lot of energy, but at the same time, like, I'm pretty sure the events are genuinely fun. So we'll see with that. There maybe it's gonna be something that we're gonna have to check out. Also, Michael, weren't you like scorekeeper or something? Like, I could have sworn you mentioned that before.
I've definitely worked them. The upset was, I think it was against Cal 2 years ago. Traditionally, Cal is usually pretty good. But yeah, the field hockey team mainly just plays Cal and Stanford. That's what they played last year. So, and Stanford, before they almost canceled their program, was like a powerhouse for field hockey. So it's a tough year because they have to play Stanford like 4 times a year.
Thank you for the inside scoop, Michael. I actually have to go back real quick to women's soccer. I found an article that basically contained the poll, pretty much the coaches poll for how they think UC Davis and all the other teams stack up. Currently in first place for women's soccer, they're projecting Long Beach State, which narrowly beats out Cal State Fullerton by 2 votes, 106 to 104. So they're the 2 clear favorites for this conference. Then it's followed by UC Irvine, UC Santa Barbara, CSUN, Hawaii, Cal Poly, and Davis comes in at 8th. So let's see if Davis could be the underdogs here. I mean, they got the expectations. They may not have the expectations, but we know at UC Davis that we're going to compete no matter what. So we'll see. Maybe they could come out of nowhere, be the dark horse candidate, and we'll see what happens. So.
Yeah, I think that's a product because the team is relatively young. I think we have a senior and like 2 juniors on the roster. I could be wrong about that. And then everyone else is either sophomores or freshmen. Yeah, but Tracy Ham's a good coach. She's well credentialed. This will be her first real season, I think, with the team. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think there's a lot to be excited for. And just because that ranking is low, I think there's definitely rooms to grow for the team.
Yeah, definitely. Following up Davis, we have UC San Diego, UC Riverside, and CSU Bakersfield. So they're not last. It's still a preseason pool also. That isn't the final standings at the end of the year. We'll see how the season comes along, and let's hope it's a good one. I mean, we also quick little announcement. Leslie Fragoso, a midfielder sophomore from UC Davis, was voted to the preseason all-conference team. So let's see if Leslie, maybe put the team on her back and take UC Davis in places. But there's some pieces of optimism definitely with this UC Davis team. As Michael said, they're a young team, and they could be the dark horse for all we know. We'll have to wait and see as the season is barely getting started. I don't know. I muted myself, but now that we're done with that,
wait, one quick thing. We're getting closer to football season. September 2nd, the first.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The first UC Davis football game. They're going to be at Tulsa, so an FBS team. I believe. I want to say my first year, 2018, UC Davis was the first FCS team to beat an FBS team that season because they beat San Jose State in the first game. So hoping for a little more magic like that one. But I know Jake Mayer's not walking through that door. So, yeah, overall, I just wanted to share like the preseason polls. It seems like in the media poll, they're ranked 23rd in the country. And in the coaches poll, they're 21st. But in the Big Sky preseason poll, they're ranked 6th. So we'll see how they do. Well, it seems like they're kind of going to be like a middle of the pack team, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe that spring season did help them out a lot because these other teams haven't played since 2019, right? Yeah, like Sacramento State, Montana, the Montanas, they haven't played since 2020. Oh, actually, the Montanas did play, but Sacramento State and a bunch of other teams haven't played since 2019. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited for football too because those are always very fun.
Definitely. Well, we might be covering all of our home games, like, and might actually get paid by UC Davis Athletics to do so. That's still in the works, but we'll see what happens there. I'll have to talk with the GM, but we'll see how it happens. And also, like, that UC Davis football team, I think we're being a little disrespected there, man. Like, we were really good in the shortened season, but really just we kind of came up short a little bit, but I think we got some really good players. Like Hunter Rodriguez showed he could be a very fun quarterback. We got the best punter in the whole, honestly, let's just say it, the whole in college football. There was no better punter than
Dan Whelan has a leg, dude. That man is crazy. And then
I
remember Coach Dan Hawkins. He said he couldn't be ranked in the numbers nationally because he didn't have enough punts because UC Davis just doesn't really punt as much. So he hasn't really had a chance to like join like the national rankings. But if for some reason he does, he's up there. He's one of the best punters for sure. And I think I want to say that the players are able to come back even like after last year, another year. So we'll see who comes back.
Yeah, they got another year of eligibility.
Nice. So we'll see how they come back. The defense was pretty solid. Some questions on the offense, but we'll see what happens there. I'm excited. We're coming up soon, a couple weeks.
Yeah, we got Yolonzo Gilliam. He was great for us last year. He's one of the best running backs in the FCS, and I mean the offense should be fun. And yeah, our defense definitely played up to standards last year. I mean, definitely something that we're gonna have to be watching for, and I can't wait to go to some games. Can't wait to cover them either way, but we'll see what happens. And now we're going to jump into the NFL with what's been happening lately. The first thing I want to talk about was Hard Knocks. The episode 2 dropped yesterday at 7. I watched it a little bit later, but I also know Omar watched it. Michael, Jonas,
I saw this one.
watch it? Jonas?
I have not.
Oh, that's cool though. Overall, what are you guys' thoughts for those of you who have seen it?
I thought it was a character development episode. I think we kind of see who they're gonna cover. The Azur Kamara. That was a great story. He's an undersized defensive end, but like the fact that he like came as a refugee from the Ivory Coast, and it was a great story. Even like Terrell Basham, like he seems like a pretty cool dude as well. We got some Ben DiNucci content, which I was very excited about. Got some Ben DiNucci content. Trying to think. Honestly, it was cool to see like they kind of went into the background of like a lot of players, like a CeeDee Lamb, because I feel like I haven't really, since he was drafted that year of like COVID and stuff, we haven't really had a chance to really like interview as much or to get to like see how he really is. But he seemed like a pretty cool dude as well. But yeah, overall, it was like a story development. You kind of feel like you know who they're gonna focus on for the next couple episodes. But yeah, man, like I said, Zeke looks good. Zeke looks really good, man. I'm telling you. And man, I was gonna mention something else. Yeah, Mike McCarthy is a terrible speech giver. That was terrible. They're supposed to be motivational speeches, and I was just like,
I thought that was just me. I really did. I thought that was just me because you already know my opinion on Mike McCarthy, but I was seriously like, dude, I just don't know what to say when he talks. Like, I didn't mind the one he was talking about Mojo last week. I didn't think that was bad. I actually thought that was funny, but the one that he gave in the opening was just like, yeah, this team is not good. Like, if you're down at halftime and he gets up to give a motivational speech, I'm forfeiting the game. I'm like, I thought that was just me though.
I saw more engagement from the players responding to the defensive line coach than Mike McCarthy. I thought the defensive line coach, that was a great story. came from London, NFL Europe, and he seems like he really knows his stuff. So and the players really like him. So we'll see what it develops. We're getting close to like the dress rehearsal game, I think, for the preseason. So I think I want to say that Amari Cooper might suit up next game. So maybe we might see some Amari Cooper content. But yeah, Michael Parsons, it was cool seeing him. Like he just wants to play, and that man, he has so much energy, and I can't wait to watch him in the regular season. But yeah, overall, I think I like this episode as well. It was a bit of a development episode.
Yeah, definitely. What was the coach's name? The defensive line coach. He did have a great story. I'm just blanking on the name though. Anyways, I just love how like.
Sorry, my bad. One quick thing. What's his name? Dan Quinn. Love Dan Quinn. Honestly, like I've been seeing some like seeing him in Hard Knocks. Like he looks like a real coach. Like the way he just like talks to the players, and then like I don't know if you saw in the before the Arizona Cardinals game, like he was like he just pumped. Like he just looks like a good coach, and hopefully he's one of those examples that's like maybe not great head coach, but maybe not a great head coach, but a great coordinator. So we'll see. And the defensive line coach was Aiden Durde. Aiden Durde. There we go.
Yeah, I love his accent. Like I think it's seriously great. Like just seeing like people like just tease him for his accent. Like especially Terrell Basham when he was doing that, I just couldn't stop laughing because it's just funny hearing like a British guy talk about like American football. Like I don't know why. I just find that super funny. And like I think Jerry Jones is like, oh yeah, he looks like something, but then he talks like Winston Churchill. Like it's just like that's fun. Like I don't know. Like the show's been really funny to me. Like also like I don't know if you saw the credits when the credits were rolling out. They were like how who wasn't making fun of Dak because he didn't go to LSU.
Lyle Collins. He's from
Lyle Collins. Like that was funny. Like there's been some really funny scenes. It makes a lot of these Cowboy players a lot more likable, honestly. Not that they weren't likable before, but just like more likable. I'm just saying like that because the song he made about like Dak not going to LSU, I think that was really funny. I don't know why, but anyways,
Michael, what did you think of the episode? Have you been able to watch both episodes?
Yeah, I definitely like this one. Then their focus on like non-stars, or even when they did focus on stars, it was nice to see like a more insider perspective on how they're dealing with like Dak's injury right now. And I think that was the cool part for me was like seeing the players talk about what their thoughts and perspectives on what's happening with him, because all we're getting right now is like media people telling us what to think about this. But I think it seems, at least from the show, that like no one's hitting the panic button on him, which is good. I think it'll be good for the NFL if Dak is back and healthy. So,
what are your thoughts on Aaron Donald getting locked up and then being salty about it and starting?
oh my god, yeah, okay. I mean, we played last year, didn't we? And it didn't go well. So
that was last year. It was last year. This is a new year,
okay.
And y'all better hope you don't see us. That's all I'm gonna say.
Are we on the schedule? I thought we are.
No. Cowboys play the Chargers.
Chargers? Is that the LA visit?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they play the Chargers in week 2.
Okay. It's Hard Knocks. I don't take anything they do like that for granted. I'm sure there was something else to it.
What was I gonna say? The Rams were Hard Knocks last year, right?
I think it was a dual Hard Knocks with them and the Chargers, if I remember correctly.
I honestly didn't watch it. Was it good? Like I don't remember. Like
I didn't watch it either.
I don't really.
I watched it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. I watched it late though. Like I watched it like literally a few weeks before like Dallas came out because I remember starting it, but I never finished it. And honestly, like I feel like just because I knew the end results, like, oh, Anthony went, like they've super focused on Anthony win, but I know he was gonna, like, knowing he was gonna get fired, it just made me less interested in it. Like when they did stuff about him. Honestly, also in that episode, I think they focused a little too, in like that season, I think they focused a little too much on like the undrafted free agents. Like they kind of like swayed away from like the top players, which, I like when you include them, but I don't want like the whole thing just to be about like the guys who, are on the practice squad. I also want to see like the star players as well. But it was still really fun to see. It was definitely interesting considering the circumstances of last year with like COVID and the way they're handling it. Super interesting to me. Also, they did a lot of stuff that tackled the political climate at that time because like that they really focused on, which I appreciate. Hard Knocks and like honestly Sean McVay for like and Anthony Lynn just to, like the way they handled it. I thought it was great with all that stuff that was going on during that time.
Yeah, I mean, like I think in terms of like big stars, I mean, I don't know if Jared Goff has that substance, to go in deep in depth in the Rams. And Justin Herbert seems like a pretty cool guy, but I don't know if he seems smart and stuff like that, but I don't know if I want to go in like that. Probably the only player I really want to like get into is probably like Jalen Ramsey, right? Like he's probably the only player on the teams that like probably has like a personality. So I get like them focusing on undrafted free agents. But yeah, overall, I liked both episodes so far, and man, I can't wait.
I forgot to mention this real quick, but they were doing a whole segment on Derwin James, and like how he got hurt last year. Like I just hated when they were doing it because it was just like, oh my god, they're doing all this and he's gonna get hurt. Like because they did have they recorded when he got injured, and it was just like, man, like it just sucked. I mean, I love Derwin James and just seeing him. Like I was starting to get hyped up too, like because like I want to see that guy, but then I already knew. Like I was also like, oh shoot, he's gonna get hurt, and then it happened, and I don't know, it just kind of killed the vibe. But anyways, now that we've talked about Hard Knocks, we can kind of move on because preseason week 1 just happened. We pretty much every team has played. I just want to know, like, do you guys have any takeaways from your own team? I don't know if Michael's gonna have too much because I don't think the Rams played their starters, but
Nah, yeah, I never watched preseason because Sean McVay plays 0 starters, so it's not even worth it. The game, I wish I watched it. I forgot, but that was interesting to me was the Indianapolis one. Now that Carson Wentz is out, I wanted to see what they did at quarterback. I think was it Eason got most of the first team reps, and then Ellinger came more towards the end. Okay.
Yeah, Eason got most of the first team reps. He didn't look bad. Honestly, what really stood out to me in that game though was like, why isn't Sam Darnold like playing with what has he done so that he gets the pass in preseason? I thought I don't know, like it's a new offense, new team for him. It's like you gotta shouldn't you be getting as much reps as you possibly can right now? Like I don't know, I just found that kind of weird. But PJ Walker's actually a really good backup at least right now. Like I'm not kidding. PJ Walker made some plays, and then it's like a reminder. That dude was really the XFL MVP. Like the dude was he showed that he can play at a high level at quarterback. Although I know it's the XFL, but it's he's playing against other grown men, and he's still these are a bunch of guys that are trying to get back in the league. And I don't know, man. Maybe PJ Walker can cause a little bit of quarterback controversy. I want to see that.
On the Cowboys side specifically, I think I liked what I saw from some of the defense. Calvin Joseph had a rough game, but I mean, it's a rookie. It's going to happen. Same way Trayvon Diggs had rough games last year, like the one against Seattle and stuff like that. So I like what I saw from the defense, especially the pass rush. The Osa was just an absolute monster, right down the middle. Michael Parsons, you already know how I feel about him. Keanu Neal, dude, that man, he looks good. He looks explosive. He looks really good. And I'm excited about him. Bit concerned about Jalen Smith, not gonna lie. Very, very concerned about Jalen Smith. Very concerned about how the Cowboys feel about paying the 4th linebacker on the depth chart $13 million a year. It's not a great investment in my opinion, but that's just me. I thought the defense was really good. The offense hasn't really been able to get going. Ben DiNucci threw the first. My bad. That was weird. Ben DiNucci threw the first touchdown of the Cowboys preseason, but overall, there wasn't a lot of starters. But I'm excited to see this week against Houston because I think it seems like Amari Cooper is going to get some run too. So we'll see how that goes.
Definitely. Also from the Cardinals side, I just think Rondale Moore. I don't know if you saw him. I think that dude's gonna be a stud. He was their 2nd round pick, and Like, I just like the way they were using him. I think he could finally give him some consistency on that offense. Like, I think he should be their starting slot receiver too. I watched that game and I was just like, Rondale Moore, he's gonna be good. Like, a guy I really like coming out for the Steelers though. First of all, I just gotta say, like, I don't want to watch Mason Rudolph anymore. Like, he just keeps like, I don't know. I just keep walking away like, why did the Steelers even extend this guy? Like, what has happened? Like, what he do? Like, what dirt does he have on the front office that you like? Oh yeah, we're gonna make sure he stays employed. Anyways, like, I'm more wait. Honestly, Dwayne Haskins showed some stuff. But I thought a lot of people overhyped his performance. Like, he was good, but it was a lot of like just throwing it to the flat, letting the receiver do a lot more, or letting the receiver do more of the work. He had some decent throws, but overall, a lot of people are like, I don't know. I think they're overhyping it. Although I think he should probably get a chance to play with the ones because I'm a lot more interested in him than I am with Mason Rudolph. Also, I've seen enough. Najee Harris is going to be really good. Like, the dude he's just so good. There's no doubt about it that dude's going to be a star running back in this league. Great guy too. I don't know if you guys seen his story. Just super good dude, and just the talent. He just looks so great. The only thing that's really frustrating is the fact that every time he had two really good runs that day, like both of which he tried to hurdle someone and then he just got and it just pretty much got called back for a holding. And it was like, man, but on the bright side, the second team, two offensive linemen really stepped up. Kevin Dotson, who I don't know why he's running with the second team. He's really I think he's the best offensive lineman on the team right now. He was really good for us last year as a 4th-round rookie, and he was actually legitimately good, not just like, oh, he exceeded expectations. No, he didn't only do that. He looks good, and he killed it on the second team, and he got elevated to the first team, so I'm really happy about that. Like, the Steelers were just so hard on that guy for, like, no good reason, in my opinion, but it's what I really see starting now. And then Dan Moore, another 4th-round rookie that we just drafted this year, he looked really good at tackle, albeit against the second team, but that still has me feeling pretty optimistic because I did not expect him to be that great. I had no idea who he was before the draft. He wasn't on my radar at all, but I mean, he looked good in his first preseason game, so it has me feeling a lot better. Anyways, we can move on to the next topic if you guys would like it. It's related to NFL preseason, but I don't know how many of the games you watched, but I just wanted to ask, like, which rookie quarterback impressed you the most out of all that performed this week? I guess I could go first. I'm probably gonna go with Justin Fields. I just saw him and he really took over in that second half for the Bears. I mean, just he's so good at running the football, and I don't think enough people talk about how legit of an athlete he is. Like, the dude runs 4.4. He's fat. There's only 2 quarterbacks that are probably faster than him, and that's probably Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. Those are the only 2 guys I could probably say would beat him in a foot race. But other than that, I think he's probably the 3rd fastest quarterback in the NFL. And just a lot of the throws he's making and just with the accuracy, it's really encouraging. With what I could see happening with him, because he looks legit, and I think a lot of teams are going to regret letting him fall out of the top 10 when they I'm looking at the Broncos and maybe even the Panthers. I would have probably rather had Justin Fields than Sam Darnold right now, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I guess I'll go with Michael. I thought Michael was going to go, but yeah, I rewatched the Justin Fields and he looked really good. Obviously, Trey Lance had the highlight, right? The highlight of the deep pass. But overall, I think Trey Lance struggled a bit. Mac Jones, the offense, they kept it pretty easy. So, I mean, if they're just wanting to be a game manager, I guess he could do that. But his arm's kind of weak, not going to lie. He's kind of just floating it up there. So that was kind of rough to watch. But overall, yeah, I think Justin Fields, today Andy Dalton said, Justin Fields is going to be a good quarterback, but this is my time. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think your time might last 3 or 4 weeks, roughly. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I love what I saw from Justin Fields, and for teams like you mentioned, like the Panthers, the Broncos, and all that, it's just even the Giants. Even if I was the Giants, I would have thought about it, honestly. It's just can you imagine them right now with the team that they have with Justin Fields instead of Daniel Jones? How much different would that be? yeah, I like what I saw from Justin Fields. So hopefully we'll see what he does in the second preseason game. But yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of preseason, like I said, but I did see the Mac Jones stuff. And the first thing that popped out to me was that's not an NFL arm. So I was like, what is these throws? Like he was like lobbing everything. Nothing was, I mean, it was on time, sure, but it was like so slow. And I was like, I don't know how this guy's gonna survive at this level. That was my only takeaway.
I mean, just the other two quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence, he made some pretty good throws. Still was nothing like too crazy. And Zach Wilson looked really sharp, in my opinion. Like, was awesome. Had some really good ones, like on third down. Like that's what I remember just watching him from BYU. It's like on third down, that dude was always on the money, and he continued to do that in the preseason. So definitely something we're going to keep monitoring. Definitely some quarterback controversy starting with in like San Francisco, New England, and Chicago. We're gonna definitely see which rookie quarterback starts first out of those teams. And just one last headline before we move on from the NFL is Jamal Adams. Finally, I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen, but he got an extension with the Seattle Seahawks. And it wasn't even that much money. It was like 17 and a half per year. Like, I thought he'd get more because he had a ton of leverage considering like how much draft capital the Seahawks gave up just to get him. I mean, he's still like, and I know it wasn't really the best year for him last year, but he's still a really good safety. Like he's still like one of the best strong safeties in the NFL. So, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good deal for the Seahawks, and I'm glad they got that deal done because he's one of their better players on the defensive side of the ball. You can make a case that he might be their best pass rusher too. So, I mean, who knows? But overall, I thought it was a pretty good signing. I'm glad he finally got his money. I don't know if you guys wanted to add anything to that, but that was just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Seahawks fans didn't want to re-sign him, and it was just like, why would you pay a safety $17 million? And it's like, I guess I kind of get it, but at the same time, like you don't spend the amount of draft capital like you mentioned to not re-sign him, right? Like you kind of have to. And it's like after the Russell Wilson thing we've gone through this year, it's like, do you really want to just like have like here, Russ, we'll give you even less talent on this team. Like we'll even be even worse. So I think they had to do it, but good on Jamal Adams, got his money. And I wonder how much the safety market changes because the safety market's already been like pretty down recently. So I wonder like if this changes anything or is it just going to continue to keep going down? Because like the Jets don't want to pay Marcus May, right? They don't want to pay him, and I don't know. The safety market's kind of weird right now. So surprised he got his money, but I'm glad he did.
Yeah, like Omar said, you kind of have to, considering how much he gave up. But also, and to keep Russell Wilson happy, but also, like, yeah, that defense is so limited already. Like, they don't have a lot of big names on that side of the ball. So you need to keep everyone you could. And there was definitely a noticeable difference when he went out last year. So hopefully he stays healthy this year and they have a better defense and they rebound this year. But just when he came back, right, they stopped being the league leading or league worst in defensive rating, I think, right? So it makes sense. It's definitely a lot for safety, but it's not that much compared to other NFL contracts for sure.
Personally, I think like the safety market can kind of get a lot bigger with like there's some other guys that are going to be entering the markets and like Minka Fitzpatrick, Jesse Bates is another one. Those two guys I think have the potential to like boost that thing up, but we'll see. Yeah, and I definitely agree the safety market hasn't really been that popular, not giving up a ton of money, which is kind of crazy because I think like safeties, I'd probably say they're more valuable than linebackers, and the linebacker market kind of got a little bit of boost, but it's debatable. It's not really like a huge difference between the two, but yeah, we can now move on to the NBA. I guess we'll get started with the big trade that happened to start. Really with the LA Clippers acquiring Eric Bledsoe from the Memphis Grizzlies for Patrick Beverley, Rajon Rondo, and Daniel Oturu. I hope I said that right. Any thoughts on this trade? Because I don't know what I'd make of it. I mean, I'm not really the biggest Eric Bledsoe fan, but at the same time, I'm not really missing Patrick Beverley, Rondo, or Oturu. Like, I don't think any of it? Like, I don't know what to think. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say for the Clippers, it's a pretty insignificant trade just because we don't know what the timeline with Kawhi's injury is. And it seems like this is kind of going to be a regrouping season. I think it's kind of unfortunate that Pat Bev is gone, especially just because it's like the last remnant of that Clippers team that made really overachieved and made the playoffs before Kawhi and Paul George came on board. Pat Bev, Lou Williams. I think for the Grizzlies, definitely having Rondo will be a good locker room presence. And I think the same for Pat Bev, just someone who leads by example. I don't know if Pat Bev is going to run point. I
I
imagine.
forgot to mention this. Sorry, Jonas, for cutting you off, but he got sent to Minnesota. Pat Bev then got sent to Minnesota, right? Or am I tripping off that?
Yeah, no, he got sent to
Yeah.
Minnesota.
He definitely got
yesterday.
sent to Minnesota.
Oh, my fault. I missed that.
You're good. You're good.
Don't worry
I
about it.
forgot to include it in the doc. That's on me. But yeah, keep going, Jonas. Sorry about that.
Did Pat Bev get traded? Did Memphis get anyone in return?
Yeah, they got Jarrett Culver and oh man, the Jarrett Culver was their 6th pick a couple of years ago. He's been pretty awful. And Juancho Hernan Gomez. Those are the two they got back.
That Jared Culver situation is pretty unfortunate, but hopefully he gets some sort of chance to play, to get in the rotation at least in Memphis, because I think he was really solid in college, and yeah, hopefully he can bounce back in some way. I don't know what Pat Bev is going to do in Minnesota. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota at all. But yeah, having Rondo should be good for Ja. And I think that's Memphis, or like this trade impacts Memphis the most. And yeah, he should definitely be a great playmaker to learn from.
I think I kind of didn't get it in the beginning. I remember just seeing the trade and I was like, wait, how does that make any sense? But I guess like the more I thought about it, getting Eric Bledsoe, I guess like he's going to provide more offensive production while Kawhi is out. And like when you're missing like 25 points a game at least, you're going to need like the most points you can get. Like obviously Eric Bledsoe's not going to average 25 points a game, but you know, he can add more than Pat Bev and Rondo can. And Terrence Mann, you're expecting him to have a step up this year. But and also like they needed to cut their roster, so that was another thing. But I also saw this thing that said they save like 30 million in luxury tax this year, and it's like, how isn't Steve Ballmer like worth like billions of dollars? Like what is he saving 30 million for? But honestly, like I saw someone say, oh man, I can't remember who said it, but I saw someone say that like him trying not to spend too much on luxury tax might be an indication of Kawhi might not come back this year. And the Clippers are just like, why are we going to go all in this year? Right. Like why go all in and just save up a little bit and then just go all in next year? Because Eric Bledsoe, like, I mean, let's say when Kawhi comes back, it's like, you know, are you going to run like a Terrence Mann, Eric Bledsoe, Paul George, Kawhi, and Markieff lineup? Like that's a small lineup, but like Eric Bledsoe doesn't exactly have the best reputation in the playoffs. And he's a good defender, but Pat Bev did a great job with smaller guards. He struggled against Luka, but Luka's like 6'7", 6'8". So, but Pat Bev did really good against like guards his size. He did really good against CP3 in the playoffs. So they're gonna miss his defensive presence as much as he annoys me. But he's a really good. He's a solid defender. But yeah, they basically traded Pat Bev, Lou Will, Oturu, and Rondo for Eric Bledsoe. So I don't know how to feel about that. I guess you know how to take it, but again, like Jonas mentioned, we don't know what the Clippers are going to be this year. Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think when I first saw the trade, it was definitely more like what Omar was saying, just like a holdover to get some points off the, I guess, start. He's probably gonna start. So there's like maybe 20 points a game from him and like just hold. I think it's a move to hang around in the playoff contention and like And if they're still like the 8th spot when Kawhi gets back, I feel like they'll be pretty happy about that. And like I think that's what this move signals to me is like hang around and maybe if we get Kawhi back, we can make a run. But especially with the luxury tax situation, like you're saying, it sounds like they're just like this won't be our year. But let's like see where we're at in like March, right? And then if Kawhi's back around that time, hopefully we can make a run. But I think they're just kind of conceding this year and just gonna run with this and see what happens, kind of a deal.
Definitely, I get that. That's I didn't know. Thank you guys for informing me. I really did not know what to make of this trade like at all. Like I don't know. I'm not really a fan of like really anything, but I agree with Jonas to the sense like yeah, getting Rajon Rondo on the Grizzlies could help Ja out. Help become a better playmaker, and Ja's gonna be a star. So I mean, any other help it's gonna really put that guy over the top. Unless you guys have anything you wanted to add to that, another big thing that happened in the NBA was Marcus Smart receiving an extension from the Celtics, which I don't know. Again, like, was it an overpay? Is it a steal? Like, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that.
I mean, this is what happens when you make what's his face, the coach, the GM. He just bringing back all the guys that he liked when he was coaching. He's like, the front office didn't give us a fair shake last time, so let's just lock everyone up that I liked and let's just make another run. It's definitely an overpay in my opinion. I think he's a solid player, but is he worth that much? I don't know. But I'm sure the market probably demanded that kind of money for a Marcus Smart type because he is. Maybe he drops you a couple points a game. Like that's worth something in today's modern NBA. So I get why they had to pay that much, but it doesn't. It's just the Celtics team hasn't done enough to like move the needle, and this definitely again just kind of keeps them in the same spot and just more money committed to dudes who aren't going to make any kind of playoff significance.
Well, from what people have been saying, it seems like Boston's gonna run with Marcus Smart at the point this year, which I'm curious to see how it goes. But look, Marcus Smart is a good, solid player. He's an all NBA defender. But I'd say is an overpay. He only shot over 40% from the field once in his career. He's been in the league since like 2014, I want to say 2014, 2015. Only shot over 40% once in his career. His 3-point shooting has regressed in the last couple of years. So he isn't exactly like as efficient. And he's also like him at point guard. Like, I don't know if I trust him to have the ball in his hands because he's not exactly like the playmaker that, that the Celtics need. Man, I don't know. I just don't. I thought they should have traded him and try to get something for like maybe like a big man or maybe like an actual point guard. Like they're banking on Marcus Smart and Dennis Schroeder working as the guards, right? Like that's what I assume they're working on. I mean, they have Josh Richardson now too, but it's like I don't know. It's a super undersized lineup. Like their biggest addition this offseason was who? Like Al Horford? Like was that their biggest addition? Like I don't love what the Celtics are doing at all. Robert Williams is really good, the center, but man, I don't like their window just kind of seems like not there. Like unless they get like a great break, like I don't really see their window there. Like I don't know what they're doing honestly, and I guess we'll see. But I still think they should have traded Marcus Smart.
Yeah, I agree with Omar. I think there's a good chance that their window may be up. I think it's an overpay. I love Marcus Smart, but it's interesting that he got so much with there being such a premium on 3-point shooting. And as Omar said, his 3-point shooting has regressed in the last couple of seasons. At first I thought, oh shit, sorry, it's people in my house. But at first I thought the timing of the deal signified that maybe the Celtics were going to try to package Smart in a trade for a superstar because they signed him to an extension before Summer League as opposed to before the season. And I think the moratorium on when you can trade players who just got a contract extension, went from 6 months to 5 months. But in terms of superstars, it doesn't really seem like there's real viable options for the Celtics that are game changers. I think, like, I've heard things about Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal, but I don't think the Celtics would be either of their top choices. I've heard things about Karl Anthony Towns, but I don't think a Karl Anthony Towns addition could make the Celtics contenders unless, like, Jason Tatum blossoms into a top tier scorer, like a top tier playoffs performer. Yeah, I'm also confused where the Celtics are going. I guess, like, the one bright light for them is that they are getting a lot of money off the books in the next couple of seasons. They signed Josh Richardson, but he's an unrestricted free agent next summer, and then Al Horford is in 2. But yeah, I agree. Their window is passed, but it will be interesting to see if they make a move for a superstar, either with a trade this season or in free agency over the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, and I was under the belief that last year when Gordon Hayward was a free agent, I think there was rumor that they wanted to get Miles Turner and Malcolm Brogdon from the Pacers, and I thought that would have been an absolutely great deal for them. They could have had, like, some of their needs and more depth pieces as well. But instead, they got a player option, which they used on Evan Fournier, and then they didn't even re-sign Evan Fournier anyways. So it's like, what are you really doing here? You know, like, I don't know. I've had my questions on the Celtics. They've been holding on to their assets for, like, a really long time. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I'm not really sure what the Celtics are doing, but I would say I sent it. I think I said it before, but it's like the Celtics are possibly the 6th or 7th best team in the East now, because I take the Bulls over them. I take the Hawks over them. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they're gonna do, but they're banking on a lot of potential, I guess. But their depth is not great.
So you would say this is like pushing your agenda of Jason Tatum becoming a Laker. It's helping you out.
Yes, it is. It is. It's helping my agenda. 2025. I'll see you guys soon. 2025. AD Tatum taking over the league.
Jonas, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get used to this with Omar. He's got too many photoshops, and you're gonna see them anytime we talk about the NBA. But I'm just wondering, who's your favorite team, Jonas? Like, or just like a basketball fan in general?
I will admit, I'm a bandwagon Heat fan. When I was younger, I joined Heat Nation when LeBron and Chris Bosh came over, but I have been loyal, so I've been a Heat fan ever since.
Nice. We're getting all over the country now. We're getting teams all over the place. We got Lakers, you know, we got Warriors, we got Rockets. We got a good amount of a fair selection of teams. We got Knicks too. Remember Miles? He finally had a good year for the first time in, like, his life, I think. But yeah. But overall, I don't know what the Celtics are doing. They really fumbled all the assets they had from that Brooklyn trade. So we'll see what they do, but I'm not super hyped on them.
Definitely. Next, I mean, I did see that the schedule got, like, for some of the games, like the Christmas games, right, and like the opening day games. Like, what exactly was released again?
Yeah, I can. If you want, I can go through it.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
opening night it's Tuesday, October 19th. It's going to be Nets at Bucks. It's going to be the first game. And then the second game is Warriors at Lakers. So that's going to be a good one. Those are going to be some good games. Let's see. And then that Friday of the opening week, it's Nets at Sixers and then Suns at Lakers. So that should be really fun. And as for Christmas, there's 5 games on Christmas. Wait, is it Christmas? No, this is not. I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh, there's 5 games on Christmas. First game, Hawks at Knicks. I need to see Trae Young go off. I need to see that again. I need to see him shush Madison Square Garden. Celtics
That's
at.
just a great choice. Sorry about that, Omar, but that's like perfect for Christmas. But Go
Yeah,
ahead. My bad.
definitely. And then like the Knicks always have that like 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time slot for Christmas. And like now they're kind of decent. So it's like putting Trey Young there and like knowing what happened in the playoffs. Like it's a good matchup. The second game is going to be Boston at Milwaukee. Third game, Warriors at Suns. And then fourth game, and I would assume I would call it the main event, Nets at Lakers. That should be super fun. Hopefully everyone is healthy for that. And then the last game is Mavs at Jazz. So no Heat, no Clippers, no Nuggets, absent from the Christmas Day games. But aside from that, aside from possibly the Celtics being there and maybe the Jazz being there, I don't get everything else. But aside from that, I think the games are pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't know who's staying up to watch Mavs at Jazz. I'll be honest, on Christmas. Like that doesn't excite me at all.
Yeah, no, me either. I think this past Christmas Day game, I want to say it was Jazz Clippers, and I think I watched it for like it was Nuggets Clippers. And I think I watched it for a bit, but I wasn't really interested. Like this year's Christmas games were actually pretty awful. So hopefully these games are a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Also, that Lakers Nets one should be a ton of fun too, like you mentioned. Hopefully, they can stay healthy. But I mean, Kevin Durant versus Russell Westbrook. I mean, also LeBron and AD. Trying to have that bounce back season. Tons of like narratives that can definitely help the NBA and like have a really good Christmas. I know they love to make money on from their Christmas games. That's one of the even if it means like starting their season really early. But yeah,
I
we'll
can't
see.
wait. I can't wait for the Warriors to beat the Lakers on opening night and everyone just to overreact, because that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. I genuinely believe the Warriors will beat the Lakers in the first game. Same way the Clippers beat the Lakers in the first game when the Clippers got Kawhi and Paul George and stuff like that. So I don't know, but I am excited. Honestly, I realized the other day that basketball is a lot closer than I thought. It's like 2 months away, which is crazy. So we're getting close. We're getting really close to that October. NFL in full swing, basketball starting, baseball postseason. Man, I can't. October is honestly like it's the best month, best sports all around sports month.
Agreed. Unless you guys want to add anything else to that, we can move on. And like, I just want to ask you guys, like, have you guys been keeping up with the summer league and how's that going? Like, what are you seeing from maybe your favorite team? And yeah, just like, what have been your thoughts on the summer league? And are they getting playoffs started right now, like with the summer league, or
Finished.
it finished? I didn't know at all.
The Kings won it. The Kings won it.
Oh, Will.
I know. We should have had Will. I wish Will would have made it today. He would have had a parade for the Kings winning something finally. Davion Mitchell looks legit though. He's like if he gets enough run, he's gonna be all NBA. Like I don't know, like he's been locking up like everyone in the summer league. Again, it's summer league. You don't want to overreact and stuff like that. But man, like he looks really good. He looks solid. Jalen Green got shut down, I think, in the last couple games. Like he didn't play, just to be safe. Overall, I think it was a really quick summer league. For some reason, I thought it was quicker this year than other years. I don't know why, but
I think it's only 5 games per team this year.
yeah, it was really short because usually they have like the couple games and then they have like this big tournament thing, right? And then this year,
they just cut the tournament out this year.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird, but yeah, the Kings blew out the Celtics in the summer league championship game. So yeah, but aside from that, I love seeing the overreactions from everyone of just like every summer league game. It's hilarious. Seeing like the Jalen Green comments about Detroit. That was funny. Cade Cunningham saying that he thinks LeBron is the GOAT. That was funny. Like everyone went crazy. But yeah, honestly, like I think it was a quick summer league, but it was pretty enjoyable and it was cool to see like that back because I believe we didn't get to see that last year. So
Yeah, definitely. Like, I had no idea they cut out the tournament. I assumed that's what was about to start up because I remember seeing the Bulls basically post on Twitter that it's like it's our final game of like I don't know, like the way they worded it. I guess I just interpreted it as like, oh, the playoffs are about to start for like the bracket. But I mean, I guess that means the Kings, their Summer League championship, might have an asterisk next to it. So we could tease Will about that. The Mickey Mouse Summer League champs. You could use that, Omar, just in case he makes fun of your Lakers. But
I got you. That's a great idea. I'm gonna use that. I need to get on Photoshop after this show. I need to make something real quick.
yeah, like definitely. Any other thoughts that Michael Jonas that you had from the NBA Summer League, if you guys want to share?
I didn't watch too many games, but I stayed in the loop. I thought this year's Summer League, from what I gathered, was pretty exciting, full of some surprises. I think we all enjoyed Jello's inclusion in it. And it's really cool to see a lot of the players who I watched in high school on like Ball is Life mixtapes. I'm showing my youth here, but like Josh Christopher, Mac McClung, it's really cool to see those guys in NBA uniforms now. And I think we got good, not like crazy, but good performances from the top lottery picks. Jalen Green looked awesome in the couple games I watched him play before he hurt his ankle. I watched the highlights of his game against the Cavs where he went up against Evan Mobley, and his willingness to shoot like very much contested threes, and his confidence with it was pretty incredible. And I thought like it was just a decent amount of surprises. Like the MVP of the championship game was Lewis King, I think, and he's undrafted. So that was cool to see. Also, someone with the last name King winning it for the Kings. And Luka Garza picked in the 50s, I think 52nd pick, really producing for the Pistons. Yeah, a lot of, from what I gathered, I didn't watch too much of it, but from what I gathered, there was a lot of players who were undrafted or late picks who really had a good run.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens to Luke Garza. I think he just got a two-way deal with the Pistons this week, so we'll see. He'll be spending most of his time this year in the G League probably. But yeah, I just watched some Kings ones, and yeah, Davion Mitchell looks legit. I'm interested in seeing what the lineups look like because he isn't tall, or he's like 6'1" or something like that. So I just want to know where they put him. Like, where does he fit in that offense? It's just a lot of questions. But I think none of that really matters because he can play on any team because his defense is just that good.
Yeah, I'm curious to see that as well, Michael. I had my questions. Like, I remember we were doing the draft show, and I was like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you choosing another guard?" Especially with the fact that Buddy Hield is still there. So it's like that's like 4 guards right there. Unless you're gonna run a 4-guard lineup, it just doesn't really make sense to me. But yeah, I don't know. It was Davion Mitchell. He's gonna be all NBA though. I guess just real quick, I wanted to bring up before I forget. Did you guys hear that the Lakers apparently worked out Isaiah Thomas, Darren Collison, and Mike James? Why? Like
I heard about the IT stuff. I didn't hear about Darren Collison.
Apparently it was Darren Collison, Mike James, and Isaiah Thomas. And unfortunately, I think the Lakers are gonna sign Isaiah Thomas. Nothing against him. Good dude. Hope he gets a shot in the NBA. Hope it's just not on the Lakers because it's like the Lakers already have a bunch of guards, and he also doesn't give you anything on the defensive end. That's like he gives you like nothing basically. And I don't really know why, but the reason I think they're gonna sign him is apparently Isaiah Thomas worked out with LeBron and Westbrook the other day. So I'm just like, he's probably just gonna be like an end of the bench guy, which like it is what it is at that point. But it's like, I don't know. It kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest.
Clearly, the Lakers are just trying to add another all-star to their super team. I mean, it's obvious, Omar. Let's just face it. The Lakers are a super team, and they're just trying to get another all-star there. That's the plan. Come on.
Nah, the Lakers are too old. Remember, that's all I heard. You know what? I told you, Pat. We're coming back. We're underdogs this year. We're gonna be underdogs this year. Just trust me on that. Trust me on that. And they're gonna be like, oh, you got another washed up guy, and just wait. But yeah, honestly, like I don't get it, but I mean, hopefully he gets another chance in the league. He's a solid player.
Yes. Yeah, really on a real note, I just want to get a second chance in the league. Like it kind of sucked the way his it ended. It kind of ended out of nowhere. Like honestly, I expected him to still be in the league, but maybe not like the same player he was in that. What was like 2017 that year that it happened, like where he was just like going crazy. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just glad to see him at least getting a second chance in the league, and you know. I mean, if the Lakers do it, shout out to the Lakers. I mean, I think that's a really cool thing to do. Even though he's probably not going to get too many minutes, it's still something cool to see. I mean, just seeing a guy who's out of the league for a while get a second shot.
I mean, if they're looking for like, sorry, go ahead, Jonas.
I was just gonna mention. I thought that Darren Collison retired a couple years ago.
He did, but he's always like teased like a comeback, I guess. And I remember, was it like pre-COVID, he was like choosing supposedly between the Lakers and the Clippers, and then last second he was like, nah, never mind, I'm not gonna go back. And then so I guess he's looking to come back again. So I don't know. I'd be cool with Darren Collison. Like it'd be solid. Like I don't even know if he has anything left, but I didn't know he retired prematurely. So yeah, you're right. He has been retired, but I guess he's trying to come back. I don't know. What's I gonna? Dang it, I was gonna say something. Jesus. All right, whatever. Wow, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead, take it away, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great conversation, guys. Like, I mean, NBA a lot closer than those 2 months are probably gonna fly by, especially with like NFL starting really soon and like baseball really heating up. I mean, we could get into baseball right now if you guys want. Like, just talk about that. Like, I mean, we're seeing some stuff like the wild card race getting really interesting in both conferences. And I mean, I just don't know, what are your guys' thoughts so far, maybe about your own teams or just as maybe other teams like that you find interesting, maybe like just want to hear what you guys have to say.
Shohei just hit his 40th home run. But in terms of the races right now, I think the AL one interests me a lot because you got a case of the AL wild card. I mean, it's a case of a team that was in control all year, right? And the Red Sox of their playoff destiny, and the Yankees, who are just on this streaking path upwards in the rankings, in the standings right now. And the series is pivotal. And are the Yankees legit? Or is my question. Like, I know they're getting a lot of guys back from IL. Like Garrett Cole just made his first start against the Angels the other night after being out for a while. I think a couple guys from the bullpen will be back. They basically only had like 3 starting pitchers before Garrett Cole came back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to them now. I think Rizzo is still in the IL. I could be wrong about that. But Stanton looks like he's back in form. I still think they need a center fielder, but obviously that can't happen anymore. The Yankees are a very interesting team for me. I just don't know if this is sustainable, or will the Red Sox like figure it out again. I know the Red Sox pitching was going insane to start the year, and now they just come back down to earth. So I'm interested to see what you think, Omar.
Yeah, no, the Yankees.
Sorry, could I just say something real quick? I just text Ryan, and I was basically saying like he's basically saying, like he can't make today, but and like I was saying like oh I can't like, but he said he'll be here available soon, and I'm like, oh yeah, great, like hope to see you soon. We're gonna need some Padres representation on the show. And then he's like, he just said, I hate baseball. So that's just the state of of Padres fans right now. I just found that funny. Even though they still have the wild card and are ahead by a game and a half, they are kind of slipping there. But go ahead, Omar. You can take it away from here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Yankees kind of just like turned it around out of nowhere. I remember talking like months ago where we were just like, "What happened? What's happening with the Yankees?" And I remember when they traded for Joey Gallo and all of that, we were just like, are they like you're the Yankees? You have to be buyers, right? You kind of have to go for it. And just out of nowhere, I mean, obviously coupled with the fact that the Red Sox just completely have fallen off. I think it makes for an interesting because like right now it seems like Boston and New York are tied. Well, what is it? So they're all tied actually. All three wild card teams are actually tied right now for the wild card spots. I don't know do you guys know what would happen if all three teams tied?
I assume it's run differential
That would be such a terrible
or
way.
head to head.
Because I know when is that only for divisions where you have to play game 163? Do you know what I mean? Like
That might just be for divisions. I don't think they would do that for wild card. I'm assuming it's gonna be run differential.
yeah, because right now it seems like the one team with the best run differential is Oakland. They have plus 70, Boston has plus 55, and Yankees have plus 24. So it seems like the Yankees don't have a great differential when it comes to recently, but I mean, whatever gets it done, I guess, right? Yeah, but we'll see what happens there. The White Sox are still kind of streaking, but I wanted to go to the NL real quick. If that's
Wait, real quick before you go off the Yankees. First of all, just like they're beating the Red Sox right now, so they'll get a game ahead of the Red Sox there. Like they might just sweep the Red Sox, which the Yankees are making quite a comeback. Also, they had this rookie pitcher making his debut, like kind of out of necessity, Luis Gill. Like, and his first 3 starts, he didn't give up a single run. So I think he's like one of the first players to ever do that. So really cool thing that's going there. And yeah, I think we mentioned this last week. I think the Yankees are like, I think they kind of surpassed the Red Sox at this point. They're kind of the team that I'm expecting to get that wild card spot. And also, I think it's probably gonna be them and the A's. But I just want to put that out there. Go ahead, Omar.
Yeah, the Red Sox just kind of seem to be slipping. It's not great. It's not looking great. Their away records, they're basically at 500 away. So I don't know. But I wanted to get into a team that, has been speaking of teams that have been slipping. What's going on in San Diego? Like, what is that all about? It's like, man, like it just came without warning. Like if only someone would have like told us, right? Like someone would have told us that the Padres are going to collapse in August. Like it's weird. It's weird. It's really weird. Who could have saw that?
Collapse has not happened yet. It has. Honestly, it's like their pitching just absolutely falling apart.
What do you mean it hasn't happened yet? I think
when they lose the wild card spot, that's when it that's when it's happened.
Dude,
and
remember,
as long as they hold it, if they can rebound, it's not gonna like. I don't think it's happened yet. It's happening, but it's not completely done. I don't know. But,
do you remember? Do you remember when like a couple weeks ago when I told you when you were like, oh, but the Padres are still like 5 games ahead of the Reds, like.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
And you're like, no, like they'll be fine. They just have to get it right. Like, but they're just. And then I was like, all right, I guess like. You take that, but now they're only a game and a half back. Padres got no hit by a pitcher making his first major league start. That was honestly pretty funny. Not gonna lie, I enjoyed.
That was I don't know. They had a lot of hard hit balls that like honestly should have been hits, but it was. I think the pitcher even said it himself, like with everything that was happening, like he kind of knew it was gonna be something special, like things were going his way, but it's still super cool. Like I don't know if you saw his dad in the audience, like that was really like just a feel good moment for baseball fans, really.
Yeah, that's got to be a crazy feeling. Like you're gonna go watch your kid pitch his first game in the major leagues, and then out of nowhere it's a no hitter. Like that's got to be insane. But what has been going on with the Padres? Like I've seen that they've been losing. Like they lost again today, but like what's like? Are they like the pitching has been bad? The hitting's been bad.
Pitching's been terrible.
Oh,
like like Darvish got hurt in his last start before like he had to pretty much go on. I don't know if he went on the IL, but I know he has like it's like back tightness or whatever, like that. He was not good. Blake Snell, I don't think he's good anymore, if I'm being honest with you. He just hasn't. Like, I didn't watch baseball last year, but I just don't think he just hasn't looked good. Like, I don't, like, just, me being a first-year baseball fan, I don't see, like, this guy that everyone's like, oh, Cy Young winner. Like, he was messing up the Dodgers last year, and it's like, what happened to that guy? Like, I never saw him. Why is it that when he goes to a new team, everything just falls apart? And then, like, then Joe Musgrove was like their only reliable arm, and he had a bad game when in his most recent start. I think they've literally had like 2 bullpen days and 2 of their last 4 games have been bullpen days. And I mean, they started Jake Arrieta today, so it's like kind of shows you like a guy they just signed to a minor league contract is starting a game already. Like, it kind of shows you what the state of pitching is like in San Diego. But yeah, like, it's not a good look.
Well, us.
Go ahead.
Well, us too. I mean, we've been having to bring up pitchers. David Price started a game the other day, which is weird to see. He's usually like a bullpen guy, but Blake Snell, to get to your point, I mean, last year he was all right and he did great in the postseason, so everyone kind of forgot. But in 2020 and 2019, like, he was not great. Like, he was not that good. He won the Cy Young in 2018, and he was excellent that year. But aside from that, like, I'm looking right here at his numbers, and he's only had an ERA under 2 was his Cy Young year, and a WHIP under 1. And then all of the years, it's been ERA above 3, and then WHIP above 1.2. So it's like he hasn't really exactly been super great, but he did great in the World Series, and I guess people got hype off of that. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be personally, I think it would be hilarious if they lose the wild card spot. I personally would have an amazing time if that were to happen.
Of course you would. You would literally be Ryan, like, just wouldn't want to be your friend anymore, because I know
Ryan would go MIA. But look. I said it months ago. Like, you guys can laugh right now. I was like, laugh all you want right now. I'll laugh at the end. I told you guys. I remember I told you that. So I'm saving it up. I'm just saying, like I've been I've been writing down on the list, like, all right, all the things that have been said throughout the year. I'm like, okay. But I'll repay him soon. But
well, they do have go ahead. Sorry about that.
Go for it.
No, I was just say, like, the Dodgers and Padres do have a series coming up, and
that could change a lot
next week. Yeah,
that could change a lot. The Dodgers are currently 8.5 ahead of the Padres. Could be 9 if they win today, and they're currently 3.5 games back from the Giants, who just lost today. And if the Dodgers win, there will be 3 games back. So that will be interesting. The Giants, I want to see when the Dodgers play the Giants. Like, I need that to happen, like, very soon. Although the Dodgers haven't really done great against the division, honestly. It's weird. But they play them in September. The first week of September, they have a 3-game series with the Giants. And then they play them. That's it. They only play them 3 more times. Wow, that's crazy. All right. But yeah, other teams that are slipping, our guy's not here, but the Mets. The heck is going on? The heck is going on with the Mets, man?
Their bats I saw are just cold as ice right now. And worse news, DeGrom is out, probably looking like a year. Right, they're shutting him down. And the Braves just didn't give up. You got to give some credit to the front office. You could have said when Acuna went out, not our year. Oh well, but they made a ton of trades, and so far most of them have panned out. And it's just, you don't see that from an organization that with all this money invested in these guys, when they go out and they're like, oh, just reinvest in this year with different people. I gotta applaud them for that. I still don't think, even if they win that division, they're not gonna do anything in the playoffs. But it's just fun to see, like, an organization just keep at it. And as for the Mets ownership, oh man, what a mess.
Did you see his tweet? Did you see his
Yeah,
tweet?
I saw the tweets.
Dude, what owner tweets like, oh, like our hitting is not good or whatever? Like, what did he say exactly? Like, Does anyone have
It
the
was
tweet?
something like, how are major league hitters able to like perform whatever, and like you never see people with this bad OPS at this time of year. It's just like, dude, you're the owner. This is like peak New York sports, right? The owner starts talking, and you're just like, why, dude?
If Jerry Jones had a Twitter, if he knew how to use Twitter, he'd do the same thing. Honestly, just saying though.
Yeah, it's just like that's just the Mets, though, man. Like, also the stretch they're in is absolutely brutal right now. Like, of course, like at the beginning of the season, you wouldn't have said like, oh, the Giants and the Dodgers. I mean, you wouldn't like, you'd be like, oh man, they put the Dodgers, but like the Giants, you would not view them the same way you view them today, like because like you wouldn't see them as being like having the best record in all of baseball, right? Like, it's crazy just to think about like looking now. It's that the fact that they played Dodgers Giants for a series is absolutely brutal because that could be the nail in the coffin right there. I mean, we'll see, but they did win today. Maybe there's some optimism, probably not though. But yeah, we'll see what happens to the Mets.
According to strength of schedule, which is just based off of the winning percentage, what the heck? Oh, the team with the toughest schedule remaining is none other than the San Diego Padres. They have by actually a good margin. They're actually up, like their strength of schedule is pretty tough. Dodgers are at 14, Giants are at 6. Yankees actually are at 26. So they have a pretty. I think their Yankees' toughest games are gonna have the Rays and the A's. So the A's should be a good series. It'd be an interesting watch. But yeah, man, we're getting to that season of that part of baseball. We're entering that last month, dude. There's only like teams have like about 40 games left now at this point. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah,
What-
call-ups happening soon. People are gonna start making the push. It's gonna be exciting this last month.
Hey, Michael, what are you gonna do when the Angels win 25 games straight and they make the wild card?
If that happens, I will legitimately be excited. This is the typical time of year where I'm like, let's just see what we got.
You're like football. Let's go.
I do think that baseball, if they ever change the schedule, which will never happen, they need to end earlier. They need to end in like September. They can't compete with football, I think.
If they were to end in August, that'd honestly be pretty crazy. It'd be good because August is like there's no NFL, there's no basketball anymore either. So you're basically gonna have the World Series like standalone. So I thought it'd be pretty good. But
Yeah, that's what I think should happen. But obviously, it'll never happen because it's baseball. But if they ever did change the schedule, it needs to end in like August, September.
and then also that would mean probably moving back the season. And then the reason they start when they start anyways is because of the weather. In most places, like it's not really good weather for baseball. Like it's like the East Coast, it's literally like raining all the time. So
Yeah, no, I get why they have to play it when they do. It's just if they ever condense the schedule, which again will never happen, they should condense it down a month or two and just end it in September.
thoughts on? Oh, go for it.
Being in schedules, I just gotta ask you guys, what do you think about the NBA moving back to 82 game?
That's a good segue. Not shocked, but I thought like I mean it's like a money thing. The only reason they did 72 this year was because they wanted to get the Christmas games in, and I guess they were trying to finish in time for the Olympics. I believe that's what the reason was, and it's like, why are you gonna do that? Which is why second half of the season, like teams had like 4 games in 5 nights and back to backs all over the place. Like it was a terrible schedule. This offseason is technically still shortened, but I mean, if they go back to, I still think personally that I always under the belief that the NBA should start their season the week of Christmas and then finish in August when like there's nothing else going on, and because like those months of July and August are usually just baseball. So I always thought that they should start in the week of Christmas and then end in like August, but they would never do that. But I always thought that that'd be a good idea.
I like that. I think that'd be a ton of fun. Like, just it'd be way easier to focus. I feel like basketball during the summer, like then, just because like a good portion of it's like, I don't know, for at least right now being a student, it's like a huge chunk of the season's in like during like school. But I think that'd be a ton of fun, like having an opening week be during Christmas. I like that whole idea, Omar. Anyone
That'll
else?
never happen because it'd be cutting into the WNBA season. Part
You
of
know,
the WNBA having it in summer is that people have only them or baseball.
that's true. That is very true. But then they just stopped their season like for the Olympics. Like it was weird. Like
Well,
honestly,
yeah, that's just because it was the Olympics. I don't
I
think they
know, but
usually
it's
do
like
that.
just send like I get that the world is getting better at basketball, but like I'm pretty sure like if they ended their season in August, there'd be enough players that didn't make the playoffs that would still be able to play in the Olympics, right? Like I don't know, I don't really get it, but yeah, last year was crazy. Like when the NBA was playing, like remember how they like postponed their season and they were playing in like August and all that. Like I remember October, like September, October was just absolute mayhem because it was like sometimes I had to watch like the Lakers playoff game and then the Dodgers playoff game and then the Cowboys played a regular season game. Like it was insane. Like that was probably like the worst. Like just that's the worst like anxiety I've ever had. Like it was crazy. But aside from that, like yeah, I think I would love to see basketball move back. But again, you saw how they compressed it for the Olympics. I don't think it'll ever happen. But 82 games does make more sense. Which is I guess I don't know if Pat, if you wanted to say one more topic for baseball, but it just hit me with the question I was going to ask. But do you want to hit one more topic, or do you want me to ask it? Is
Go ahead
basketball?
and ask it. I was just gonna say like, go Freddie Freeman just hit for the cycle, and we were just talking about the Braves, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But go ahead, Omar. Ask your question.
Dang, Freddie Freeman. All right, I see you, Freeman. Uh, my my question was, do you think that the NBA should keep the play-in? That's a question I've been hearing lately a lot. Do you think they should keep the play-in tournament? Um, I say no, because if like I saw someone say like if you don't know who are the best 8 teams after 82 games, like there's no reason for you to be the top 8 in the NBA after 82 games and then you lose 2 games and then you're out, right? Like I get the playing game because like you try to recover money from uh, uh, COVID. You lost money during COVID, and maybe you're giving teams another shot. But it's like they got so lucky this year that it was LeBron versus Curry. Like that's not happening every year, right? Like some years you're gonna see like the Kings and the Grizzlies or something, right? Like you're not. It's not gonna be LeBron and Curry every year. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. They're gonna keep it though because it was a success, but I don't think they should.
Yeah, I think sense-wise, like you hit the nail on the head. I don't think it makes much sense with, like you said, the 82 games to 2-game contrast. I think entertainment-wise, though, I was a big fan of it. And if I'm thinking from that side of things, I'd like to see it again. I think just because of how much of a drag the last month of the NBA season can be, it's nice to have something to get excited about right when that month is over. And this is very unrealistic, but it would be cool to see it expanded to maybe I don't know, 6 teams in each conference, just because I like watching teams with a lot of young talent, and it's less tanking. I'd say obviously you're not going to get a LeBron and Curry matchup every year, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many stars in today's league, especially really in both conferences, that I think at least 7 through 10 seeds, you'd get an intriguing matchup, at least with like half of the play-ins every year.
I think, or go ahead, Michael. I don't know if you're gonna go, but
I think they should keep it. I thought they should have went another 72 again this year just to give these guys a break. But that would again because of TV will never happen. But I think they should keep it. I agree that they'll never have like a marquee matchup like that ever again. But it's still fun. It's still fun to watch. And like, let's be honest, if you're in the 8th, 9th seed anyways, you're not going to do anything in the playoffs. So like, this is like their one shot to like give these 9 seeds like any kind of attention at that time of year. So I think for that sake, it makes a lot of sense. So I think you should keep it. It's fun.
I like it. I kind of agree with you there, Michael. I would like to keep it because I just find it more fun when like teams that, yeah, I get your point, Omar, that it's like if you can't figure out who are the 8 best teams after 82, then that's kind of bad. But at the same time, like I like it when teams just like are competing to the very end of things. Like when it's like being the 10 seed and say you're like 5 games behind like the 8 and there's like 7 games left, but there's like a team right behind you that's only like a game behind. You're going to continue to try to keep winning and try to make sure that you can play for that play. And I just think that there's some appeal to it. Like what Jonas said with like, the last season's a drag. And I think the play-in does add some electricity and some fun that you can look forward to while basketball winds down, because honestly, I think a lot more teams would like be trying to tank and not win, and compared to, trying to still make it and like compete for a chance to get in the playoffs.
I guess that's a fair point. I mean, they're not going to take it off. It was a success, so they're going to keep it. I would though like if they changed it to kind of like what they did in the bubble. If you guys remember what they did in the bubble, they said like they are going to have a play-in tournament, but only if the 9th seed was like under 3 games back. And like I get that, like that's close enough to where it's like the margin of error is like not like maybe they could go at it, and that's why we only saw a play-in game for the West and not the East, because the East was like pretty done. But like I don't want to watch like the Pacers, like the 33 and 39 Pacers, like I don't really want to watch that. Like it's like if they could add like a limit of like, okay, you have to be within this number of games back, like that's fair. But I think the Pacers this year were like 7 games back, so it was just like what like they're not gonna make the playoffs anyways. But yeah, I think if they were to add a limit, I'd be more okay with it. But yeah, it's definitely here to stay.
Yeah, I agree with you on the limit for sure.
I like that. Yeah, I could also see that. I think that'd probably be the most fair thing to do. But at the same time, we're just spewing ideas here. The NBA is still going to run with it no matter what we really say. But
hey, man, money runs it, dude. They're gonna the money was good for the ratings were good for the play-in game, so they're gonna keep it.
So yeah, I mean, unless you guys have any other like sport you want to talk about, we can move into final thoughts. Like, if anyone wants to start to share something they've been thinking about related to sports, go ahead.
My final thought. What was I gonna say? We don't really talk about it much, and I brought it up last time. But I was thinking more of like probably this year, probably get more into soccer and just like specifically PSG, because I just think PSG is gonna be ridiculous this year. And just being able to see like Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi on the same front line, like it's like gonna be insane, and it's gonna be something that who knows if we'll ever really see it again, like that amount of talent on one team, like especially in attacking. Like you see it in like international play, but you never see it in clubs. So very curious to see that. So I will be very interested to watch PSG, especially the Champions League games. Those are always very fun. And if PSG still doesn't win a Champions League, then they have the same curse that the Chargers have at this point.
My final thought, appreciate Shohei Ohtani for what he is. He just pitched on the bump, 1 earned, got the win, and hit his 40th homer in the same game. I feel like it's one of those things where it might be something where, like LeBron, people just kind of like, oh, just something that happens. Like, no, this is greatness happening, and we just all gotta like sit there and watch it. Like, even if the Angels suck, it's still amazing to see like a guy pitch. I think he pitched like 6 innings, gave up 1 earned, and hit his 40th home run. Like, it's just something you gotta sit there and realize it's something special, and you get to see it during your lifetime.
Agree with that, Omar. I'm not Omar, Michael. Sorry about that. But yeah, like, can the Angels please just stop wasting like generational talent? Like just make the playoffs one time, please. Like, like they could find a way to get like 6 or so all-stars and they'll still find a way to go like 81 and 81 or somehow. Like I don't know what that team, like they've got a curse as well, honestly.
Don't worry, Shohei. Wait until 2024. The Dodgers will come save you. We'll come save you. We'll come save you. I need to find a Photoshop for that, actually. I'll be right back.
My final thought, piggybacking off of what Omar was talking about, soccer's the main sport I follow, and this season is definitely a good time to get into it. PSG, as Omar said, have a once in a generation attack, and they've also strengthened across the team with Sergio Ramos, who is the captain of 4 Champions League winning Real Madrid teams. They brought in Jorginho Wijnaldum, for who anyone who doesn't know is a pretty consensus world-class midfielder who came from Liverpool. So PSG are going to be a real interesting storyline since they've never won a Champions League before. And also the Premier League in England, which I think is the most competitive league, has really gone stronger at the top this season with Manchester United investing in Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane, and the transfer record for the largest fee paid by a British club has been shattered twice this summer, with Jack Grealish going to Manchester City and Romelu Lukaku going to Chelsea. So it should definitely be, Premier League is going to be a tightly contested race. And the last thing that I think is going to be really exciting this season is Inter Milan won the Italian league, the Serie A, last season, but they just lost Lukaku and they lost Akraf Hakimi, who is their right back and was also a really big part of their success. So it'll be interesting to see if Cristiano Ronaldo and Juventus can turn things around after a disappointing season and challenge for that, or if that, but that league could be really open this season. So the Serie A, the French league, the English Premier League, and the Champions League should all be good watches for anyone getting into soccer this season.
Who would you say, like, you talked about the Prem, so who do you think, like, who would you say is the favorite? Like, who do you think's gonna win it? Actually, that's what I'll ask.
I can't predict things to save my life, but it seems like Man City are the consensus favorite, and they have so much strength and depth. I would say Man City, but Chelsea are genuine challengers, considering they won the Champions League last year and they brought in Lukaku, who I think everyone thinks is just gonna score goals for fun there. But it'll be interesting to see if they can really put up a challenge, because in the league they were more than 20 points behind Manchester City last season. They didn't have the best league campaign, so that should be interesting.
Definitely. We got a soccer expert in our adding to the Aggie Talk team. Gonna bring a lot more. We give everyone that title if you know good about. You don't even gotta know the most. You just gotta know a little bit, like, and you're called the expert. But yeah, thanks for the coverage, Jonas. Like, that's really interesting. I haven't really kept up with soccer in a long time, but it's definitely a lot of good storylines. And I've heard a few things about the Prem being a lot more competitive this year, so we'll see. My final thought, I think Omar, you kind of alluded to it earlier, college football starting really soon. Preseason polls have come out. I think Oklahoma was actually second or third. I want to say they were top 3. I don't know how much I agree with that. Like, I think they're above Clemson, right? Like, it's just either way. Like, I'm pretty excited. I want to watch a little bit more of that this year. Also, I'm really interested by some of the quarterbacks making their debuts, like just guys that I followed for a little bit, like Bryce Young starting for Alabama. I'm a huge fan of him. He seems like a really good dude and was the number 1 quarterback prospect, I think, coming out of high school. So he's gonna be starting for Alabama. DJ Agungale, like this big, like, Pacific Island. I don't know where exactly. I don't know where he's from exactly, but big guy, cannon of an arm, just starting for Clemson. Like, Clemson might be going from he might be more physically gifted than Trevor Lawrence, and that's pretty crazy to think about, because the dude is just like a freak of nature, and he's got a cannon. So can't wait to see that with Clemson. And then C.J. Stroud, like a really cool guy, goes to Ohio State, gonna be replacing Justin Fields. Like another really cool story. Like he won the Elite 11 MVP after like not originally getting invited there, and he's quickly become one of my favorites to watch. And he got accepted to Ohio State. He had a touchdown throw last year in like a blowout versus Michigan State. So I'm really excited to see him because I think he could be a real sleeper to emerge for like who's quarterback one in the 2023 draft class. So I'm excited about that, and I can't wait to see those 2023 quarterbacks get to play.
Yeah, no, it's they're lucky. Alabama's lucky they don't have to see UC Davis because we'd be going in there. I mean, USC ducked us this year.
Yeah, they did duck us.
You're supposed to play USC this year, but they were too scared. You know, they were too scared.
Yeah, they know Davis would pull off the upset. They've heard about a reputation as the dynasty destroyers. I mean, even though USC hasn't really been that great lately, but we'll see. Can't wait to watch some college football. And yeah, if that's all, unless you guys have anything we want to add, you guys know how we like to end it. Go
Go
Ags.
Ags.